We have Buster Bladers, Sky Striker, Exosister. There's a lot to see here. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more content. So we're going to be looking at the 13th Mogi Cup here. And this was a team term, so you're going to be seeing some interesting stuff. But your first list here is going to be Yummy. This is a pretty standard list that you're going to end up seeing here, though I do think it's a little bit interesting to see that this build was actually packing in the Forbidden Crowns in the main deck. I don't really see this deck playing Crown all that much, but I do find it as an interesting little tech choice just to make sure that, you know, you can basically turn something off and be able to constantly tech into it, but also allows you to basically protect your Yummy and kind of get the game plan back through to your next turn. And of course, the OCG has loved doing the Borreload Savage shenanigans with this. I think Savage has been one of their favorite plays, just kind of showcasing some of the power that you kind of get with this list. And of course, you know, Cupid Pitch modification is very, very, very stupid for this. Another teammate here, bringing up the rear with Sky Striker Mitsurugi. Now, I have not seen anybody in the TCG looking to bat an eye at a variant like this, because it just is feels a little bit weird. You know, you're gonna have these Mitsurugi monsters kind of, you know, dumping into the main monster, so maybe it's not something that you really want to see, but this just means that you will have an extra body. It is a dark monster, and it would technically facilitate some extra little combos for you to be able to engage with. That I do like. I do like when we can see ideas like that coming together. And also, you know, they still have King of the Feral Imps, so a 0 turns into a King of the Feral Imps technically, which is just gets you in the full Mitsurugi combo. So there are some finer arguments to be seeing, you know, when walking this line in the OCG for deck building. Next up is actual, you know, Mitsurugi. We know where we're going with this. Though this build kind of is jam-packed with some curious little choices. Like, for example, you know, we're playing a one of Manju in the deck, which, I guess, to be fair, does potentially seem like kind of a cool idea, because if I do see this Manju, you know, I can use this to basically sort of set down and go through full combo, and I don't really get punished in any way. So I guess there is something to take away from that. Also, going with just 2 rituals in here, I mean, you got the pre-prep anyway to get to the other ritual to reverse you into combo. You also do see that we are relying on the Fiendsmith package in here, which it's become more of a norm when you're looking at these Mitsurugi decks, because the Fiendsmith stuff, especially in the OCG in its limited capacity, just gets you to a Kaiser and basically protects your field from having anything negative happen to it. Next up here, Maliss. Oh boy, OCG loves playing all 3 of the trap cards within Maliss. Honestly, I think it's one of the saving graces that it feels like Maliss actually is able to kind of rely on to be able to have. This build is also side decking the Crown. And, you know, once again, you kind of get to see how good this is. OCG also still has Dimensional Barrier, which if you're able to kind of slam down that little turn skip button on your opponent, I can perfectly understand where you're going to start to get a lot of these free wins being generated. And honestly, it's going to start to feel really good when your opponent just gets very frustrated because, you know, they can't play the game. Between Drolls and getting slammed down on the Crown and all this other stuff, especially like if you can Crown protect your big Maliss monster, I really feel like you're going to be in a pretty decent position from that point on. Next up here, we have Exosister. Now, this is very, very interesting for a list because you still get to see that the OCG only has a single 7 Tachyon in their arsenal of things, which does kind of feel bad when you're getting into the deck building space here for what you can do. But I mean, you're not going to try to go into any other directions, try to bulk down 1 7 Tachyon, 1 Pot of Prosperity. You'll be able to filter into the pieces you need. I mean, you got Marth, you got the Sayora Hime to be able to extend up with the bits and pieces for this. I think it's fine. We do see Lancias. I mean, OCG is kind of fearful of Maliss, especially coming off of their last big event where it kind of just devastated people. It's got some interesting things. We are also side decking the additional trap card as we need. We have one of each of the Mulcharmies in the side deck too. If we need to call them up, I do see Tack Talents in the side deck as well. Interesting. Next up is Dracotail Albaz. So this is, I think, going to be the build that most people are, I think, going to be familiar with going forward. Because, you know, with Ket2 Limited, they have to basically kind of facilitate putting in extra cards to maximize the good results, to find the best things. I also do see, interestingly enough, there is a Shadow Imprisoning Mirror down here in the side deck. I do feel like that is kind of techy. It really just is going to depend on like your matchups to see that. Also, we are going with triple of the branded, the new Albaz, which I think is not a terrible thing. Going with one of each of the traps. We're not even playing Sting. Sting's just reserved for the side deck if we do need to have access to it, while we have Skill Drain in the main deck too. So you got plenty of little blowout cards as you can actually need them. Buster Blader. This was shocking, to say the least. I didn't think that anybody would be trying out Buster Blader, or at least testing out the concept of this. But surprisingly enough, no, this deck actually had some meta coverage for this. Now, this actually, you can use the New Fallen and the Virtua stuff in here, because you're going to be playing the branded stuff in here anyway. It's just going to be, how fast can I get to the turbo branded lock, or the Buster Blader lock through the fusion stuff while on the opponent's turn, to basically be set up and be able to just kind of roll through the combo. And that's basically what you're getting here. 2 Fallen and the Virtuas, obviously going with triple the Buster Blader goods trap with the prologue as well. You know, the new Albaz stuff is going to make it so your life is going to be super easy to access up the extra little coverage that you got for this. But I think this list is awesome. Next up here, we do have Orcust. The fact that we are able to, you know, slap the crown in here. We're playing 41 cards. We also have the Fiendsmith package in here. Oh my, there are a lot of bits and moving pieces here that really pull this together. Obviously, we're past the era of multiple crescendos. I did like the fact that we had people that were testing out the multiple crescendos. I thought that was definitely cool, but also this build is very much relying on the Borrelsword Dragon to kind of be that little end board completion piece here. You know, if you've not noticed, being able to have, you know, the Borrel on call to be able to push through and break these boards is absolutely incredibly important. But yeah, full Fiendsmith combo to make sure Kaiser protects your field seems to be about the approach that we're seeing here. Next up here, we have Onomat and Matt. Oh boy, the OCG said, you know what? I can put the Harpy's Featherstorm in the main deck, and I can access it through the triple thrust that they've got going on in here. That feels like a lot, honestly. I do see that we have the number, or the Unbreakable number, down in the side deck too. We have the Light Dragon at Ignister, if you do need to call that up on standby, which is kind of cool. Next up here, we also have Elvennotes. I have loved watching Elvennotes, but the Fiendsmith build has 100% been the best way to approach this deck, strictly because Armades reverse engineers you into it, or, you know, you can combine any 2 monsters to make the mini goddess, and you're basically able to go down through full combo through that. Once again, we see the crowns being side decked, emphasizing how good those cards are. And then we have some DDD. Wow, shockingly enough, the DDD builds, unfortunately, these all kind of look the same now. Obviously, you know, you build in the impulses, you do the 2 Gilgamesh, and you kind of call it a day from there. Obviously, this build is not playing any of the other crazy stuff. We're side decking the Where Are Thous if we need to actually turbo up and see them, which is not a terrible thing, all things considered. But Interesting. And then our last list here is Dracotail. Now, once again, CAD 2 is limited in the OCG. You know, you don't necessarily get the full stream of advantage with that. We are side decking the Sting. I see that the OCG just does not love trying that. We also do have the One Fallen and the Virtuous in here for your bits and pieces. But honestly, I think these lists all look pretty solid. So what do you guys think about these decks? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.